Stranger in the Night, you've done that very well. There's just one error that I don't know if you normally have that in your music. But bar 10, you played a B natural here where it should be B flat. That was the only thing really. Otherwise, you've read it all correctly. So well done for doing that one. Shall we have a look at the way you look tonight? Okay, obviously not going to look at the whole piece in one go because it's quite a lot to learn. And there doesn't appear to be any repetition anywhere that I can see. So there's quite a lot of music here to cover and to learn. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it up to the first time bar. You've got a repeat of that first 3 lines and you've got one repeat bar to go back to the beginning, and then you would come to the second repeat bar. So it's identified by a number 1 and a number 2. So you do number 1 bar the first time, then when you repeat it, you go straight to number 2 bar instead to carry on with the music. Okay, I'm going to do it hand separately as well because it's quite complicated. So looking at the left hand, we're starting on F. There is fingering there, so if I feel that we need to change it, and I'm looking straight away that I think we might. Okay, so I'm not sure about that third finger. I'm going to put a 3 stroke 2 there because I'm not sure about that. You can try both combinations and see which one fits better for you. But remembering you've got B flat in your key signature just like you did for the Stranger in the Night one as well. Okay, so I'm going to use 1, then I'm going to go to 2 on the C, take my thumb to the D, then the 4 fits quite naturally onto that A flat, and then the next bar, you've got a chord there or an interval, G to F, okay. Then we have C, and then B flat, okay. So either you can take the 4 and join it to the C, which is probably the easiest thing. So going from bar 2, if you try to put the 4 on the C, which is what they suggest, stretch over and move your hand right over the keyboard so that your thumb goes to the B flat, so don't forget the B flat. Bar 3, it says third finger to F. You've got a bit of an awkward interval here to read. You've got E flat and D flat. So that's the second black key along and the first black key of the 2 at the top. All right, now you can't join to the next chord, so move the hand down, but you're using either end of your hand, 5 and 1, and then 5 and 1 on the last chord, okay? You've got in this music, which is very common with sort of these sort of jazzy chords, all right? You can hear them, okay? The same interval that recurs in the left hand, and that is a 7th, which means the notes are 7 notes apart, or 1 less than an octave. So you've got 1 at the beginning of bar 2, sorry, 1 at the beginning of bar 2. You've got 2 in bar 3, that one and that one. They're both intervals of 7ths. All right, then bar 4, you've got that G and C, G and F again, all right. The next chord, you could just use 3 and 1. Okay, so in bar 4, I put 3 and 1 on that chord there. And then the next bar, change the 5 to the C, don't forget the B flat. Okay, now here, I would take the finger over, you see my second finger coming over to the B natural. So I've got 2 and 5, and then the C, because the F in this bar, this is bar 5, there are little bar numbers at the beginning of the lines if you have a look. That F is a minim, so it should last for 2 beats in that bar. So it should last while I play the B natural, and also while I play the C above it, okay? So bar 5 then. All right, so you're going to play B flat first, then the second finger is going to come over the top of the thumb to play B natural and F with 2 and 5. Hold the F with your little finger and play onto the C above it. All right, next bar starts with B flat. Should probably just be 5, then C. In bar 7, use 1 and 2 fingers on F and A. All right, then move the thumb to the G, stretch, it says the fingering here, 2 on C. Now I'm going on to the first time bar. So I've got A, then A flat, which is 4, and then G, which is 5, and then 2 on the C. So let's write that fingering in there as well. So in the first time bar, that's the fingering I would use for that selection of notes. You've got a little bit of chromatic work going on there. Remember, your chromatic scale is where you're going in semitones on the piano. So you're doing that here, although we're not using chromatic fingering for that. Okay, so that's the left hand. Now the right hand, you're starting with one of these common broken chord type chords. All right, that's the same one that you had in That Dozen a Day. All right, it might be, no, it's not the same notes, but it's the same combination again. You've got that 4 notes distance and 3 notes distance between the top 2. So I automatically use 1, 3 and 5. Any other combination would be a little bit unusual. So 1, 3 and 5 on that first chord. So I might write that in as well. Here it is again. Right. Then you've got a little cluster chord. 1, 2 and 4 on that one. D, C and F. 1, 2 and 4. Okay, then it tells you to put 3 on the G. Now don't forget the B flat. Okay, you've got another cluster interval there, 2 and 3. All right, and then the F moves down to the E, but the G stays common to both. All right, so a bit like we had in the left hand, didn't we, in bar 5. You've got to hold the minim while you continue with the note above it. Here the note above is the minim and you're continuing with notes below it. So it's going from that to that, okay? Then we move along to, this is a little bit more difficult. You've done some sort of thirds, I think, in your exercises before. Okay, now that bar 3 will take a bit of work. Okay, that's not an easy bar. You've got B flat, so you've got to get your fingers over the black key. Okay, and then we've also got an F sharp, and you haven't got any alternative but to use the thumb. So you need to take the hand right over the keys. We could do something like this, but I'm not sure it's worth it really. I think if you just take your hand forward, that will be fine. So you're going to use the thumb on the F sharp at the end of that bar, but don't forget the B flats. All right. Then the next bar, bar 4, you're starting again with the thumb on a black key because that's B flat. And just follow these quavers. Now what I would do is use 1, 3 and 5. All right, on this first rather unusual chord. That's G, E flat and F. So let's write that in. 1, 3 and 5. So in this one, the reason I've done that is because you can go from the E natural in the previous bar and join onto that chord. So if you watch what I'm doing there, I'll go from the beginning of bar 4. Okay, so I end up on the 4 and I've got nothing to play the E flat with apart from the third finger, which fits quite nicely if you just put it over the top there to join onto that. So just those last few notes, just practice that a few times, then leave that and come down the keyboard to play E flat and F, 1 and 2. Then again, you've got fingering in this next bar, 1 and 2. Like that. Notice the D, because it's a minim, has to last the whole time you're playing those quavers. so make sure you hold that D throughout all of that. Now, you've run out of fingers really, so it does say move the fingers to the F and the A, E and G, and then you should end up with a 3 in the next bar on the F, like that. And again, the F, because it's a minim, it needs to be held while you're playing these notes underneath. Okay, so hold that D. You have to do a tiny break there to move those fingers as it shows on the music. All right, 3 on the F, hold the F while you play the underneath notes. All right, so in bar 7, we've got held F. Okay, little jump here. B flat in that chord, or that interval, like that. So I'm using 4 to 5 at the top, which you could try and join if you can. So I'm joining the top 2 rather than doing that and jumping around. It's not such a good idea. So use the fingering they say, 4, hold it and join it to the 5. Okay, and then I'm going to go on to that first time bar, and you've got a similar pattern again, very similar. So 4 to 5 joins at the top, and I'm just popping the thumb at the bottom. Okay, then we've got, they put the B flat in there because it was B natural just earlier in the bar, but the B flat is back in again for this chord, so they have to write it in the music, otherwise you'd play a B natural. Okay, oh, it's not a crotchet, right. Okay, so 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 5, and then leave that and find that first chord at the beginning. Right, forward there. Over the top. I'm not going to do the second time bar, I'm just going to do that so that you repeat that section. Okay, I don't think I need to go through the left hand again particularly. Left hand isn't quite so difficult as the right hand particularly, that you would need to work at. Do it in small little sections as usual. If you find that too much, then just do half that, just do 4 bars instead of it's about 8 bars, isn't it? All right, so 4 or 5 bars instead, but I'll leave it up to you. But don't rush on with this music because there's quite a lot here to take in. All right, there's some repetition in the right hand, I can see, but it's not matching the left hand. So yes, that's the same. There's just a little bit that is the same in the right hand. Okay then.